Chaps, welcome to the sixth Pinnacle X podcast. And today I have a super special guest. I'm not going to tell you his name right now, but you can guess who this guy is. He is a proper South African, a Cares boy, unfortunately. Left our shores to go to Wales, played 10 years of pro rugby at the highest level, playing for Wales, and playing against his former country. He probably had a motto at that stage of his life where he played super hard and partied even harder. He uh, suffered major setbacks in his life from lifestyle, from whatever, which we'll dive into just now a little bit. But there's more important stuff that we want to touch on. And suffered a major heart attack. He's back in South Africa with many life changes, and now in line for a heart transplant. But with a refreshed mindset, a new change of life. And guys, a new change of outlook in life, I would say. And my special guest today, Rhys Thomas. It's the first time I've heard a Cares boy on here. And my friend, it is awesome to have you on here. This is a short podcast, and we dive into who you really are. And what a pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Welcome, Rhys.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Very appreciative of that intro. Probably the best intro I've ever had onto a podcast.
Yeah, well, there we are. Just keep it simple, and that's real, eh? That's the real side of it, isn't it? And I
Yeah,
mean, let's dive straight into it. So
yeah.
tell me, and I don't want to harp on all the stuff that everyone can check out because Rhys's details are going to be at the end of this podcast with photographs, so you can get in contact with him. I want to utilize this time to really dive into a few things that really make a difference out there and that will make a difference, hopefully, in your lives. So, Rhys, when you woke up that day and your life was changed,
Mm.
tell me about your true feeling at that stage, your true feeling, maybe something you've never shared with other people.
Lost, abandoned. I didn't care anymore. I was grieving my life and my sport. Yeah, those were some of the initial ones. Anyway.
So incredibly hard. And I mean, okay, I know it's like the carpet being swept, taken out from under
Mm.
your feet in just the most drastic way. But
Mm.
what about friends or the friends you thought you had? How was that around you
Mm.
initially and maybe going a little bit forward?
Yeah, I think the realization was, I still had good friends, fortunately for me. Not all of them were involved in the game. And so I always had a very solid friend circle around me, albeit there was a lot of acquaintances from within the game that, when you're in it, you think they're friends for life. But the long and short of it is, it's just uh, you have a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
You play in the game you love. You're with each other. Life's good. You're traveling around the world. You're on large sums of money. Uh, you know, you just think it's never going to end. It's like being in school.
yeah,
And then it wasn't so much the friends that the void got left behind. It was more the game. And it wasn't so much like I thought that rugby owed me something as such, Doug.
mm,
I just felt that the way in which it was they conducted themselves, and I mean from the level of the Welsh Rugby Union to the regions in Wales to the Rugby Players Association, the Welsh Rugby Players Association, they just didn't know what to do. So instead of maybe, offering me a hand or just anything, they did nothing.
yeah,
And in that void of nothingness, that abandonment that I felt was arguably more painful than the heart attack because I felt like I was the left like an injured man in battle at my most vulnerable, in my most darkest hours.
Mm.
No one was there for me. And everywhere I went to try and find an answer, to look for help, they were just like ostriches with their heads in the sand, passing the hot potato, like, oof, we don't know what to do with
Yeah.
this. Bye, bye, bye. And in the end, it took me, it made my situation a lot worse because it put me into a darker place. I found myself resentful, angry. Um, I couldn't
Abandoned.
even watch I couldn't even watch the game of rugby. I threw all my shit away.
Yeah.
I hid all of my medals, my jerseys, my caps. I put them in the drawer out the way. I stopped watching the game. I didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, that's those like what I say to some of my clients. It's you carrying that backpack of all those things that are just making you round shouldered and just heavier in life. And to
Mm.
take what you've done now, and that's what we're going to dive into. You with all these adversities in your life and all these
Mm.
things that you've got over from drugs, from alcohol, from the rehab you've gone through and the deep thinking that you've now how you've changed your life. You've taken that rucksack off and you've thrown that into the fire and burnt that, got rid of that and dealt with it. And you now stand proud to this day as this amazing person that's making a difference in other people's lives. Can you tell us a little bit how that feels now?
It feels amazing. To have gone on the journey that I've been on for the last 5 years, and it continual, it never ends. Um, I'm a student of life. I constantly believe in putting in the work, however that looks, in different capacities. Ultimately, it's just about showing up every day in a small way and being as integral for me now as and as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
And of course, that's no one's perfect, and I'm far from that. And it's just kind of, how do I keep showing up? How do I keep shining my light? Like being a guide as such. And I do that really with how I live my life from a day-to-day way to support others in different ways. So I started a mental health and well-being charity when I came out of rehab 4.5 years ago. And that's now an established 4-year mental health and wellbeing charity in South Wales. We help the community. We create community through connection, through using different modalities like just walking, cold water, dipping in open water. We do men's circles, women's circles, and we really all of that work is free. Now, the work that's not free is we go and we speak and we do workshops about like, what is mental health? How can we help you? Empower, educate, and support around like what is mental health, and how
Mm.
can we begin to look at it the same as we do our physical health? So that was a big uh, part of my investment of energy over the last few years has been into the charity. Obviously, now that I'm not in Wales anymore, hands-on, I'm not so much in that, but more and more I went into the men's workspace. So men's work, I went to a men's retreat myself about 3 years ago. It's called Men Without Masks in
Okay.
Yorkshire.
Gee, that's
And
that's an awesome, intriguing title for a men's retreat. That's awesome. That's real.
yeah,
Love that.
it
Yeah.
was. And what it showed me was how much men need men and how much being in a environment in a container that was held impeccably with authenticity and openness and compassion and non-judgment and allowing for it to be fully vulnerable. And I mean like fully vulnerable. And to be held by other men and to be seen and heard was a depth of healing that I hadn't encountered. Of
Okay.
all the psychological therapies, of all the somatic therapies, apart from breath work, which I'll get to, men's work just hit different. It went to a layer that I hadn't. I hadn't really discovered in any other types of therapy. So in these spaces, it was just deep vulnerability, but being able to be fully seen and heard. And through that capacity of doing so and being completely vulnerable and like naked, it exposed me. But
Okay.
through that exposing of me, it built me. It created a depth of strength and courage that I knew was there, but it was so unnatural to be able to be like that with other men and speak your truth and be honest, transparent, and vulnerable
Yeah.
about all aspects of your life. And it was deeply profound and life changing. And afterwards, I was like, fuck, I need to do this. I need to do this work because when I'm in these spaces, there is like a level of energy and honesty that fills the heart like nothing I'd ever encountered.
Yeah.
So I started to shadow facilitate these beautiful men who were doing this work in the UK with a great mentor of mine, Craig White.
Okay.
He was the ex-British Lions S&C. He was Warren Gatland's S&C at Wales, who's gone on to this amazing journey. He's also got an incredible podcast called Dare to be Different. Uh,
Okay.
I highly recommend following Craig's
Yeah, I'll do
journey.
that.
And so I shadowed Craig. Also, some amazing other facilitators, Martin Bone, Matt Dunn, um, some amazing men, some really truly amazing men. So I went into that work. Then at the beginning of this year, I held my first men's retreat with Joe van Niekerk and Rory Lamont, two ex internationals that also had found their, you know,
Yeah.
ways
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
off the beaten track after international rugby, and then kind of gone on their own journeys of self-discovery and connection with spirit and all sorts of other bits and bobs. And inevitably, we joined forces to create what was our retreat is called the Warrior's Path, and we held that in Scotland in February, and it
Okay.
was again just incredible to what comes out in these spaces.
And tell me it now at that first men's in Scotland, that first retreat, how many men would you have together there?
So we had, I think it was just over 10 men, plus the three facilitators, and we had two support facilitators.
Okay.
So all
And
in all, it was about 16 men.
so it's nice and personal. The guys
Mm,
really get down to the nitty-gritty. And really this your first one that you went on from a personal, what's it, Men Without Masks?
yeah,
That was like a key switch in your life. That was like, hang on, now this is me getting cleaned out. This is who I truly am. And you're
yeah.
walking into this new chapter as such.
Mm,
Jeez, Rhys, that is, I love it. I do a similar, and I got to maybe give my mates a bit of a punt here, but we we go home. I mean, we go away once a year with a fishing group called the Mighty Rock Talk Tour, and it is so healthy. Great guys with great values, healthy,
mm,
uh, supportive bunch of guys that just talk rubbish for
mm,
a few days, and it's incredible how you reboot afterwards.
mm,
You completely rebooted where you're not as vulnerable, let's say, as a men's retreat, like what you're saying,
mm,
but it's just it's refreshing. It's your soul is suddenly buzzing again. It's like, wow, okay,
mm.
it's nice talking to a mate and bouncing off this, and it's fantastic, and I recommend it now. I mean, we're gonna have one of these men's retreats, and I spoke to you off air. We're gonna do it.
Yeah,
We're gonna arrange something between us for next year for under the Pinnacle X banner as well with you.
yeah,
That's 100% gonna happen. So
yeah. It's deeply nourishing work.
yeah, and it's fulfilling. Fulfilling
Yeah,
makes you feel
super
great.
fulfilling.
So
Does.
so the difference that you're making out in this world right now,
Mhm.
because I mean, let's face it. You carry around, you're living on a machine, half human, half machine at the moment, aren't you?
Correct.
Yeah. You don't plug that thing in, what happens to you?
I die.
I mean, how scary is that? So right now, what are you doing to make a difference in this world? How? What does
Mm.
your day look like? Because really, at the moment, you're waiting for the heart,
Mm.
but it's borrowed time. It's now, hang on, guys, I'm not interested in going to go and get drunk around the corner with you guys. I've got better things to do with my life. You know, what are you doing that's making a difference to you and to others in this world at the moment?
I'm just
Hard
I just
question.
incredibly I'm incredibly grateful. Um, every single moment that I get on this earth is an honor. It is a immense blessing that when I see the light of day in the morning, no matter how light or overcast or whatever,
Mm,
just to be able to walk out of my front door, to go down, luckily for me at the moment, down Sea Point Promenade,
mm,
all the way down to Saunders Beach, and just sit on that
fantastic.
rock and look at the ocean. And I'm not gonna lie to you, for I've been here for 7 weeks almost, and I would say for most of those mornings, I've sat on that rock in tears of deep joy and reverence for life. And just to be able to cast a prayer to whoever's listening and thanking them for the great lessons of life that I've had, the all of the challenges, adversities, um, that I've had the blessings to be have dealt, and how it's allowed me to reach this point that I find myself today, and to be able to show up in the world as an authentic version of who I am, uh, and to also look back at the same person that I was without any regret or guilt
Mm,
or shame, because I've worked through that. Now, I do different bodies of work, with my breath work, with my one-to-one clients, whether that be through coaching or through somatic work, or my touch therapy based work, like my myofascial energetic release. Ultimately, I encourage people to tap into their innate wisdom, to their love center, to be able to express themselves fully, um, and to find a group of human beings where they feel um, connected, because connection to me is the greatest healer. And apart that with nature, and some wonderful techniques, and tips that I implement into my own routine daily, breath work, journaling.
yeah, so okay,
Um,
I picked up on two major words here which people must realize. Gratitude and appreciation.
yeah.
Those are, if you don't have gratitude, that heart doesn't swell, it doesn't shoot out magic, you don't feel whole. You've
Mm,
got to have gratitude. And what you're saying on the rock there, I even get emotional, because
mm,
I sit in my garden and try and listen to as many bird calls as possible and just appreciate it myself. But
mm,
let's just touch on that breath work that you're doing. And
yeah,
and maybe you got a couple of minutes just to touch on that. But I mean, you go to yoga studios, you go
yeah.
and teach breath work. Just tell us a bit about
Mhm.
that. And why? Why is it important?
Yeah, so in the last 5 years of my sobriety, I found breath work in the men's retreat, actually, the first one I went on. I did a transformational breath technique, and it took me in the body deeply, from the head to the heart. Boof, opened me up like a lotus flower, and I knew I needed to learn breathwork, so I did that. I'm now a double certified breathwork practitioner in transformational breath, called conscious connected breathwork, and also in the breath science. So everything from biomechanics, biochemistry, nervous system, sleep, burnout, breakdown, hot and cold exposure, you name it. And it's been like a deep dive, and I've been in the space, and it's huge. Routine is pivotal. And like in a world that is incredibly stressful and never been more challenging, knowing how to regulate your nervous system to be more resilient within our nervous systems is unbelievably valuable. So a sound morning routine for me, learning how to down regulate or up regulate depending on how I feel and my needs for the day, is huge for me. So, but also more importantly, is getting in nature, doing a walk because that's what all I can do is a walk. I can't run, swim, ride a
Yeah.
bike, none of that shit because my heart won't have it. But I can walk. So I walk, I go sit there on my rock, I do my breath work, I meditate because stillness is super important. It's the missing part of the puzzle, especially in our current society. We've become human doings, Doug.
Mm. Yeah.
We're no longer human beings, and you're seeing the sickness that it's creating. So to be able to sit in that bit of stillness, to create intention, to visualize, to manifest, all these things are real, right? So it's about like how do we tap into our innate ability to create. So doing these daily routines is like just the proof's in the pudding. It works.
Yeah.
But it's consistency and the discipline because motivation has got a shelf life. Motivation is never going to fucking last. So
Yeah.
how do we create discipline? You've got to do what you love and love what you do. And routine in within that structure in your life is going to bring you what you desire. If within reason that desire is integral.
So, okay, so you've brought this breath work in. Obviously, breath work raises the oxygen levels in your body.
Yeah.
It energizes you as a person. What are the other advantages?
Yeah, like I said, reduces stress,
Yeah.
anxiety, increases clarity, um, reduces brain fog, increases improved sleep, reduction in blood pressure. Um,
So super
um,
important. So why aren't people doing this? Why isn't it out there?
it's the last, it's like the most obvious one, Doug. We can go
Yeah.
without food for 20 days, 21 days. We can go without water for like 6 days. We can't go without breath for like three, four, five, six, sometimes like some of these deep sea divers, 11 minutes, right? But
Yeah.
most average humans like 3, 4 minutes. So like it is arguably the most important thing. But all of
Absolutely.
us are dysfunctional breathers because of our environment, stress, trauma.
Yeah.
We're all breathing in and out of the mouth. It's not
Yeah.
correct. We should be breathing in and out of the nose. We
And
should be using the
how many
diaphragm,
people suffer from anxiety, Reese? Every
Oh,
day. Guys are
billions,
panic attacks and people
probably
are,
billions.
yeah.
It's the
So
greatest way to anxiety affects the way we breathe, and the way we breathe affects our anxiety. So we can change, we can flip the whole way in the way our anxiety, our um, panic attacks, if you're having them, I used to have them, and the breath, boom,
yeah,
doesn't happen anymore.
incredible, incredible. Sure. Tell us quickly because we've got about 10 minutes left, but just to break it a little bit and we'll get into the deeper stuff again. How was it playing against the Springboks?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Eh?
It was yeah, I was fortunate enough to start both the tests I played against the Box. Once was 2007 after the World Cup win. It was the only game I think they played that calendar year post World Cup.
Okay.
It was in Cardiff. It was my first start for Wales. So the significance was amazing.
Amazing. Sure.
Um, yeah, it was huge for me. And then my other test was against the Box was at Loftus. I think it was the Beast's first cap.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
I had all my
that's
family. It was close to home. All my mates from Kes were there, and yeah, no, it was special.
it's incredible how all those mates from Cares days, I mean, they're still there. They're still there as your mates, eh?
Yeah, they don't go anyway.
It's
Yeah.
Cares has produced some hell of a people. Let me tell you, the most famous is probably Gary Player, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a big one. I think
Yeah,
before too long in South Africa, you won't be able to walk anywhere without seeing Malcolm Marx. I see him in the shoe shops, and
no,
gosh,
that oak is
he's a
just, I
savage.
mean, he
He's a
is,
legend. He's a great kid.
and down to earth, eh? All those guys.
Humble, but
I mean, that's probably the key factor, isn't it? And it makes them successful. It makes them
mm.
I don't know. There's no judgment. They're just down to earth. I mean,
Yeah.
there you saw
And hungry.
kids off the other day walk onto the field handing out. He's just had big neck operations. He's probably out of
Yeah.
rugby forever, and just down
Yeah.
to earth people, man. It's awesome. And that's the important thing that people don't realize out there. Yeah, yeah, you are 10 years of pro rugby, gone through the worst stuff in your life, and now
Mm.
you've on the flip side, down to earth, chilled, relaxed, making a difference out there, trying to help people, helping yourself, but at the same
Mm.
time, you are helping thousands of others.
Yeah.
I mean, our little podcast today, hopefully will touch a few people's, we'll pull a few strings here and there because where
Yeah.
you've come from, and listen, we're going to do this again. So don't think we're not going to do this again because I feel like I've actually known you forever. It's quite weird. But anyway, how's your family taken this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for any parent or adult that had to deal with one of their family members or best friends or deal with addiction, it's no joke, Doug. It's
Yeah,
devastating. It's devastating, and there's nothing you can do about it because until the person is ready to change, all the love in the world will not change that situation.
yeah,
It is devastating, and thank God for the state of life where I was, that it couldn't get much worse than where I was. And I, I also thank God for my amazing friends because they staged an intervention and sent me to rehab. Three of my friends from Kes,
yeah.
my dad and my brother, they all chipped in, and I was on family holiday in Mauritius, and was staying with one of my mates from one of my best mates from school. And when my ex-wife told him all about my shit that I was up to, he sorted it, whipped the money around, and then sent me straight to rehab. And I was like, I did not want to go. So thank God for that. And
Sure.
because it changed me. It changed me. And my family, obviously,
Well,
yeah,
shout out to those
I mean,
three mates,
it's
eh? Incredible. That's what true mates are about, eh?
massive shout out.
Hmm. That's what true mates are.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, there would have been more that would have lined up. So I'm very fortunate. I feel
Yeah.
very lucky for
You don't come across as an oak that wouldn't be friendly with guys. You come across as quite a friendly oak.
yeah.
Anyway, so you got divorced. You're not remarried yet, eh? Or have you got
No,
a partner?
I've been with my partner for 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So things are on the up again.
Yeah, no, they're
But
good.
but
They're very good.
I think you said though in the past in your previous marriage. I mean, it was your fault at the end of the day. I mean, you're the one who
Oh
dropped the
yeah.
ball there.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But but
absolutely.
what people don't realize out there, I mean, Rhys, you can back me up on this. That
Mm,
dark side, that
mm,
past, actually still
mm.
serves you, and you still got to be grateful for the lessons you've learned.
Absolutely. I don't shut the door on my past because it's a healthy reminder for me that the human being I can be. Because the human being I am now takes a lot of work
Yeah,
to be honest, to be loyal, to be respectful, to be integral, to have a set of values, to be like that all of the time in this world takes practice. And to me, it was unnatural to be that way. So I had a lot of shit in my closet, and I mean
yeah,
heavy skeletons,
yeah.
full, full to the top. So like I
Maybe
remember
we'll
those.
have a skeleton closet podcast someday.
Fucking hell, man. I don't know how long you got.
Okay, so now you're waiting for the heart transplant. So what's the story there? Where are you in line, and do you know?
So it's there's no like a list. It's just like when the heart's right, right blood type,
Okay,
the right fit or like size and antibodies, then I get the call.
okay,
So it could be
okay,
like today, or it could be next week, or 3 months, or 6 months, or another year, or
okay. So then obviously with a heart transplant. the machine
Mm.
goes.
Yeah,
Is
thank
that
God.
the thinking? Yeah. The
Yeah.
machine goes, new heart, new
New,
person, back on the road. I mean, that's
correct.
effectively, yeah. That's something magical to look forward to.
Ah,
Magical.
yes. And my visualizations for that time, my communicating with my heart and my body, speaking to the body, telling it about like the upcoming operation and the challenges and the sawing through my sternum and the removing of my old heart and a new one coming in and just asking for it to accept it, to praying to the boy whose heart I'm going to have, praying for his family for that they may find peace. Yeah, but I've been doing this work for some time now. I don't just I think of it at a very deep level. So like communicating somatically with my body, making it aware,
Yeah.
thanking my organ as well, but also visualizing like what it's like to be able to run afterwards, to swim, to feel that wetness over my body with because obviously I can't with this wire jump in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm a water baby, but I used to love swimming, and
Yeah.
I haven't been able to swim for 12
Props, don't
years.
don't lie. Don't lie. Props can't swim.
I tell you, which prop was unbelievable at swimming? Adrian Garvey,
Yeah. No, he's a good
yes,
water polo player. He's
like a
everything.
fish. But
Yeah.
and
And
Ollie LaRue was also good, wasn't he?
Ollie, I don't know about that, but I know Ollie was a damn good squash player. I think he
Yeah, I
played
think he was a
SA
good water
squash.
polo player as well.
Okay. And cricketer. No, talented boys out there. There's a few props that can do stuff there. There's a few
Yeah.
props.
Well, the South African ones seem to be a little bit more exceptional than others.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah.
Amazing factory there. And yeah. But Rhys, this has been such an incredible talk with you, my friend. And honest chat, nice and short. Hopefully the audience will enjoy it. And we'll do it again. It's just, and we'll definitely do our men's retreat next year. That is, I'm putting that down right now and start organizing it soon. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. I spoke to a client of mine the other
Yeah.
day,
Beautiful.
and I made her visualize that she was Tinkerbell. Do you remember Tinkerbell? You know that
Yeah.
little Tinkerbell fairy that spreads that magic dust.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Visualize that heart of
Mm.
yours as a firing of magic dust out into this
Mm.
world.
Mm.
I think it's such a beautiful visualization. Imagine that heart just going whoosh with magic dust. That's the way I visualize you. I visualize you
Yeah.
as that person. And I
Mm.
wish you all the best, Rhys. I wish you the future. I wish that maybe I swim a few lanes, although I'm a farmer, so it might not look pretty. But but Rhys, thank you so much for honoring us today and being on this Pinnacle X podcast. You're an absolute legend. You being so real as a person and vulnerable and open and just sharing. And so cool to talk to you, my mate. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate you too.
Okay, my mate. We'll chat soon, okay?
Cheers, Doug. Thanks, mate.
The great heart under